MMA Rants and Raves, UFC 107. Stefan Struve vs. Paul Buentello. Guys, this was the comedy match of the night, possibly one of the funniest fights that I've ever seen of all time. Now, I'm just going to talk about the fight and what I think about what happened and who won and why it was interesting and, most importantly, why it was so funny. The beginning of the fight was really interesting because at 4-9, just 4-9 into the first round, Struve, I mean, this is a guy who's 6'11", 247 pounds. This guy is really a skyscraper. No wonder they call him that. He's definitely the tallest guy in MMA. Well, besides Hangman Choi, but he's really a kickboxer. But this guy is massive. And he, you know, you're talking about 6'11", 247 pounds, and an 8'3" reach. Huge arms with an uppercut. An uppercut is such a powerful punch because your body, your lower body, and all your tricep and bicep is going into that punch. And he just rocked him. And you know what was funny about the whole thing is that in the WWE, I used to watch that stuff. I don't watch that anymore. But if you ever see when guys get hit, you hear that slapping sound. And that's fake. You know, they're basically doing that with side effects. But this is real. I mean, I heard that sound. It was loud. There was a slap. He really hit him with all that coming across. And I don't know how Buentello stayed on his feet. The guy has a granite chin. That was a nasty uppercut. And, you know, for the rest of the round, it seemed like Struve got him in this body triangle. I mean, he's got like these legs. The guy's like Plastic Man, you know. He put these huge legs around him. He was trying to choke him off like a boa constrictor, and then he tried to get him into a submission. But you know what? I noticed one thing. When you have a guy this big, it's difficult to submit somebody when you have him pressed against the ground because your arms are so long. You have to basically bend your elbows, and then you still have such a huge area of arm to actually slide under his chin. So he really couldn't do it because Buentello was blocking him. He was blocking one arm. So it was really difficult for him to get under his chin with those long arms. If you have shorter arms, it will be easier to slip in because they can move quicker and they can slide under without having to move the arms too much. So that was kind of interesting, just to analyze why it would be more difficult for a guy with such huge arms and elbows to attempt a submission. And obviously that was a deciding factor because if he would have gotten that thing locked in, then this match would have been over. He would have submitted him. But you know, that's what happened in the first round. So basically, moving on. So I mean, you have to give the first round to Struve. He controlled it. He had him on the ground. Go to the second round at about 2:06. Buentello, he just clocked him with this punch. I mean, he had this flying knee. It was like a 6'11" housefly being swatted out of the air. Like, I mean, the guy was just jumping into him. Something like I saw in a Three Stooges episode where this guy's running towards Curly, bouncing off a tire, and Curly just holds up his fist and the guy just bounces off. And you know, that's what happened. And that's really frightening. Buentello is no small guy himself at 6'2", 235 pounds. To get punched when you're flying into something, I mean, it's deja vu. Arlovsky Fedor, remember what happened to him? That's horrible. I mean, he should have been knocked out. He just collapsed. His legs, those huge legs, were bending under his body. I thought his legs were broken. The guy's like I said, he's like Plastic Man. His legs can bend. He has such flexibility for a big guy. I mean, it was pretty impressive. And then, you know, it was about 2:06 when he was on the ground. This was the funniest thing. One of the funniest things I've seen. The guy, he was resting his head with his arms under his head like he was taking a nap or something, and he was waiting for the ref to say, like, what do we do next? Buentello's just standing there. Okay, do I get up? Do I stay down? And he's waiting for instructions, taking a nap. And that's what it looked like to me. So, you know, then he gets up at 1:59, and then he gets blasted with another right from Buentello, still on his feet. Then at 1:50, they both stand there like statues. At 1:50 into the second, it was like in suspended animation. They were just standing there, not even moving, like, what do we both do? And then a few seconds after that, Struve took control. And again with the Muay Thai, his Muay Thai was good. He won that battle of pressing against the cage. He seemed to have he had more strength and more skill doing that. So he definitely scored points with the judges with that. And then he just rocked Buentello with a nasty right. And he just flew back against the cage, bounced off the cage. And basically, the second round, if you look at the end towards 42 seconds into the second round, after the exchange, they had this exchange when he was against the cage. He started to fire punches against each other. It was this real slugfest. They had a lot of those exchanges. And then after the exchange kind of ended, they were like they were both gassed. Struve was like smiling. I was like, this guy is nuts. And Buentello wasn't. He's looking at him like, this guy's crazy or something, So, the round basically ended shortly after that. So, you can give that to Buentello. It was back and forth, but he had the highlight of that round by knocking him off his feet with that flying knee attempt and knocking him out of the sky. So it was comical, but at the same time he got points being comical. Anyway, then in beginning of the third, this was really funny. I don't remember this ever happening. Struve's mouthpiece had his tooth stuck in it. He had his tooth stuck in his mouthpiece, and I'm like, what does a mouthpiece cost? They only carry one mouthpiece with them. In baseball you have foul balls. You get another ball. How much does a mouthpiece cost? $1 at the sporting goods store? These guys, they were just going into the mouthpiece trying to extract his tooth out of the mouthpiece. What do these guys come with, dentists? Should they? It was I'm like, nice extraction, and he's like, no problem. He just takes okay, the tooth is out, no problem. Just puts the same mouthpiece in. I'm fine. This guy's a tough dude, and so he just gets it out, And third round, I was like, what the heck is going on here? Like, the third round was like, come on. I was like, Struve, now you wake up. Now he starts getting smart. Rather than jumping into punches and flying into punches and exposing himself. This guy has, you can't teach an 8-3 reach and a 6'11" frame. Use it to your advantage. And then finally he wakes up in the third. What's the matter with this guy's coaches? He starts getting smart and starts throwing leg kicks. And he has no answer for that. He's too big. He can't get inside. He must have threw about 15, 20 leg kicks. And they were having a strong effect because, they're very painful, and it was hurting his stamina and hurting his stand-up, and also slowing Buentello down. So he should have done this the entire fight rather than risk getting knocked out. So it was a very smart strategy with the leg kicks, and they were very effective. And then he moves in, and he got this vicious elbow. I remember when they did the Muay Thai again. But the third round was basically something that Struve should have done the entire fight, is do the leg kicks and then maybe get inside and throw some punches. But this could have been done. Of course, the first round was Struve with the submission attempt, but the submission didn't work. So that was kind of interesting to analyze. Something, guys? Anyway, I think it was very comical. And now you can ask, what's next for Struve? You know what I think's next for Struve? I'd love to see this guy fight Hangman Choi. I know Hangman Choi doesn't meet the weight requirements. He's like well over 300 pounds, but just think about these two guys in the ring. It'll be the battle of skyscrapers. How does that sound, guys? The battle of skyscrapers. How is that for a main card? Not, But anyways, very comical fight. And you know what I want this vlog to be about? I want you guys to leave comments what you think was the most comical moment in MMA and in the UFC, because I think this is one of the most comical fights that I've seen. So let me know, leave those comments, please subscribe, and thank you for tuning in.